everyone, thank you so much for joining me today for this week's vlog. Now, over the years, I've had many questions about my hands and my fingers. And recently, a comment was left on my YouTube channel about my fingers and my hands. And it really inspired me to explain more of why my hands look the way that they do and why they look the way that they are. Now, I thought that I had discussed this in previous videos, but I couldn't exactly find it when I went back to watch them. So today I want to talk to you about my hands and my fingers in this vlog. Now, I do talk about this in my first book, My Last Step Backward, and I'll put a link below where you can purchase that if you're interested in reading more. But I thought I'd explain this today through this video because video is so much easier sometimes to explain. Now, I'm the first to know that this is really hard to understand. Before my accident, I thought a paraplegic was someone who was paralyzed from the waist down. That is true. But I also thought that a quadriplegic was someone who was completely paralyzed from the neck down. And I was soon to see that that's not true. Especially after my accident, I couldn't understand why they kept calling me a quadriplegic, even though I could move my arms. I was moving my arms and I'm like, why are they calling me a quadriplegic? I can move my arms. Now, at first, when I was in the ICU, I actually thought I could move my fingers, but now I look back and I think it's probably the heavy drugs that I was on because no one remembers me moving my fingers after my accident. And so it took me a long time to understand why I was considered a quadriplegic, which a quadriplegic means that you have impairment in all four limbs. And so I have paralysis in all four limbs. My fingers and my tricep muscles are paralyzed. Now, Doug even had questions about this because he actually thought that when I fell that my fingers were in this position and they just stayed that way because of breaking my neck and that they just stayed this way. Well, that's not true. My fingers were straight when I had the accident. It was actually my doctors and my occupational therapist that made my fingers like this. And I had splints that my occupational therapist made that I wore for months that made my fingers close and made my hands close like this. And so they call it quad hands or quadriplegic hands. And to really understand why I can't move my fingers and why my hands look like this, I have to explain spinal cord injury 101. So you have all your vertebrae, you have your cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral vertebrae. Now, I broke my C5, C6. When you break your C1, you have no movement. And every vertebrae, every level down gives you more movement. So for me being C5, C6, I'm able to move my biceps, my deltoid muscles, my neck, and my shoulder muscles. If my injury was 2 levels below, C7, C8 is where you start being able to move your fingers and use your fingers. And so that is how it works, why my fingers are paralyzed. It has to do with the level of my injury, not what my hands looked like when I had my accident, or even it's all to do with my level. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below. But when I came home from the hospital, I have to tell you, I really struggled. I struggled because people were making comments like, why do your hands look like this? And why are your fingers so closed? That your hands should be open, your fingers should be open to look normal. And these questions were very valid, but they made me very self-conscious of my hands. So I then got splints that would straighten my fingers out. Because I'm like, I just want to look normal. Well, instantly I saw that I could not be as independent. Having my hands closed like this allows me to be the most independent. It allows me to pick up things easier, and it allows me to have more control. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, and you haven't checked out any of my other videos, I recommend you checking out my other video on what I can feel, and also how I use my tenodesis splint. And I will put both of those links below. And so please let me know if you have any other questions that I can answer. I do look at all of the comments. I don't always have the time to respond to all of them, but I do look at them. And so leave your comments, leave your thoughts. Let me know what else I can answer for you. I was very thankful for this brave person saying, will you open your hands? Why can you not open your fists? And so I'm thankful that people are curious. Now be nice, but also be curious. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. comment on this video, and be sure to also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks so much for joining me. See you soon.